What's up YouTube, Danny Hype here with another Dragon Ball Super TCG video. Today's video, I actually got a special for you guys. It's 2 decks in one. It is with the Soul Striker. I know he's a set 1 leader, but he is my favorite leader. But I've made 2 different versions of him, a blue-green and a blue-red version that I actually have a lot of fun playing with. And I think it's actually a really competitive deck that you guys can easily pick up and use. The reason I haven't done an actual set 2 leader yet, because for the most part I think... So the set 2 leaders like Zamasu and Goku Black, and I know Beerus is set 1, but he's really got helped in the set 2. I feel like those are all pretty much straightforward decks. There's only so many ways you can build those specific decks. So that's why I haven't posted any of that stuff. I made those decks and I played them, and they're alright. I don't think they're anything too crazy. But they can be really good decks if they're piloted well, but again, they are pretty straightforward. There's only so many different cards you can make in those specific decks. And for the most part, I think they're just all mono blue too. That's why you can mix in like blue yellow for Beerus, but for the most part, it looks like I think mono blues for all 3 of those decks is probably the way to go. And I've heard like the Goku Bobby, like the black red version or blue red, I guess. So there's those decks. The only other deck that I think has a lot of different variety into it is the Cell deck. That's really competitive. So Cell is just a really good leader on its own, and I've built like 3-4 different versions of Cell, which I think are all really good, just because the leader's is really good. So I will be releasing those eventually. Until when I figure out which ones I actually think are actually really good, I'll release those ones. And then there's my Tricolor Ginyu, which I've been playing. I still think Tricolor Ginyu is a really good deck, just because Cobalus is really good, but I don't think it's the top anymore. There's just a lot of I've been playing with it a lot, and there's just a lot of decks that can beat it. And these 2 decks I'm about to show you can beat it, especially the blue-green version. But yeah, Tricolor Ginyu is still really up there, and then Cell, whatever version you play, is really good. And I actually really like the Android leader with playing the androids. I actually think that's a really good fun deck, which I might do a video on that one as well. But yeah, for the most part, so for today we're just going to do Soul Striker, 2 decks in one. Hopefully not too confusing. I'll try to explain it quite well. But yeah, hopefully you guys enjoy. I'll try to produce more videos. I've been enjoying the vlogs. I am hitting up Connecticut in about 2 weeks for the regionals, and I with a bunch of my friends. So it's like about an 8-9 hour drive. So stay tuned for that. I will be vlogging my adventures for that, and hopefully I can do well and win. I am so far 5 for 5 in the states when it comes to their shop championships. So hopefully I can bring home another one at those regionals, but it's going to be a lot harder, a lot more fierce competition, and I'm excited. And yeah, if you guys actually see me there at regionals, please come up to me and maybe you can get you in the vlog or something, because I know I'm not like famous or anything by any stretch of the imagination, but I know every time I go to the States, there's always at least 1 or 2 people that recognize me, and it's just really cool to talk to you guys who who've supported me, even though I am a little small channel, but I'm having fun. And yeah, thanks again, you guys, for all the support, and hopefully you guys enjoy this deck.
Press start.
And bam, here it is, guys. So hopefully this is okay. I had to fit a lot of cards onto this. Hopefully you guys can see it relatively okay. And I'll try explaining how this whole thing works. So on the left side here with my blue, these are just basically the blue staples, which are basically, like, see the bottom ones here. So these are this what you're seeing right now is 2 different decks. The blue with the green here, and then the blue again with the red, and the bottom part is the blue, right? These are just the staples. There's not much to say about them. Like, it's your 10k combo card, boost attack Piccolo, your Majin Boos, your objections. I know you guys trust me, objection is a good card. Please use it. It's really game changing when you're playing against a person who is and isn't playing objection. Again, it does vary from deck to deck, but for the most part, if you're playing blue, you probably need to play objection. Then there's the Senzu Beans. Senzu Beans I'm playing at 3 right now, but you can easily make an argument for 4 because of all those Super Saiyan Gotenks that are running around with those 3 tokens. Because this basically shuts it down. Like, if they play it, you play this, and those tokens don't do anything for the turn. Then there's your results of training. You need a way to awaken. Now people's been playing Tien. I still don't like. I'm not like Tien's fine, but I don't know. if you want to awaken that early and do that much damage to yourself, it's like whenever I summon a TNs, I'm like, oh sweet, you did all the work for me. I don't have to, you know, do any of this crap. I don't have to like waste time attacking you or whatever. And so yeah, so that's why I chose results over TN. Then there's the Whis. Now this right now, and so this is the green. This version here is the green blue one. I'm going to show you guys first. Now in the green blue, I play 3 Whis and 3 Mafubas. But in the red version, I take out the Mafubas and I just play 4 Whis. Mainly because in this green deck, because of Super Saiyan Gotenks, you'll have a lot more energy untapped because of him, and he's what makes this deck basically. And so Mafuba is a little bit easier to play, whereas I'll explain when it gets to the red one where I don't like Mafuba as much. It's not that it's not easy to play, it's just the way I play it. I don't really, I'd rather have Whis in my hand than Mafuba at the time. And then so yeah, those are the staples. So 4 boost attack, 4 Majin Buu, 4 objections, 3 Senzu Beans, 3 results, and 3 or 4 Whis. Now with the green version, I have 2 more Beeruses here, and 3 Mafubas, which is not in the red version deck. Now, so when you go to the green cards, now what makes this Goku deck? So remember, it's the Soul Striker one here, right? So Soul Striker, you guys, sorry if you're unfamiliar with him, on his front side, when he attacks, you can untap 1 energy, but on his flip side, when you attack, he gets plus 5k if you have 5 or more energy, and he's a 20k attacker. Like, he's always a 20, which is actually a really big deal. 20k attacks every time. It's actually really annoying to deal with, and he untaps 2 energy, which is ridiculous. So what makes this deck really good is your Super Saiyan Gotenks, the 5-drop, because when you play him on turn 5, you untap 2 energy, so he really only costs 3. Then when you attack with your Gotenks, if you're awakened, he only costs, that turn you just played a 25k body with double strike for basically 1 green energy. It's kind of ridiculous. He's what makes this deck really good. And then you have your basic stuff, so your energy power Gotenks. I think it's just really good. He's a really good late game card. I know he's a 3-drop. Early game, he's not the greatest because they'll just discard a card and just grab a new card, but in the late game, when you're attacking them when they only have 4, if they're trying to protect their life, they'll usually, you know, discard a card from his effect and then discard another card just to stop the attack. So that's when he really comes in clutch. Then you have your Bundle of Joy, I like, or Bundle of Curiosity Son Goku. He just draws you a card. I kind of like him, just more early game stuff to help you draw cards, and he's just another 5k combo, which is really nice. Now, so this one here, I have him on the side here. It's the Gohan. So I know promos are pretty much, well, at least here, actually I know promos are, I guess, hard to come by, so you don't have to play these 4, but I really like this new Gohan. But you can easily switch him to another Kale, more Beeruses, or Raging Vegeta here, if you don't have the promos. But I do like him, and if you do have the promo, I'd suggest playing him. But he's just another kill card with crit, which is, you know, crit's a really good ability, and obviously the kill card ability is really good. And he has no stipulation. You can play him on turn 4 and kill, whereas Beerus you have to play on turn 5. His stipulation is, Raging Attack's stipulation is you can only kill 4 and under. But yeah, so that's why I really like Gohan. His 15k body is kind of weak, but it's okay. It's not terrible. Now there's the Kale. So now Kale's really good too, because you do have things to pop. You can pop your, usually you want to pop your Boos or these Gokus. And when you pop them, you can kill, you know, 5 and unders and a bunch of them, and you can kill all tokens. Like, that's what he pretty much kills all of his stuff. So like, when they summon Super Saiyan 3 Gotenks here, you Senzu Bean the turn, kill their nullify their turn, and then next turn you play Kale, get rid of all the tokens and that guy, and it's just like sweet. And it's just, Kale's just a really good card. Plus, when she attacks, she has crit, and when she attacks, you draw a card if you're 5 or less, which for the most part, usually you can get that effect off. I already explained Gotenks. Now I like Raging Attacker Vegeta. I know I've seen him he's been falling off a few times, like in a few decks. People have been taking him out. The reason I like him is because if you can manage to play him on your opponent's turn, it just really helps you get more board control and advantage. Because if you can play him on your opponent's turn, and then when it comes back to you, you can play more stuff on your turn, and you already have him on board. So the big thing is, so in my area, Ginyu is a really popular deck, Tricolor Ginyu. And Cold Bloodlust is obviously very frustrating to deal with. But this Goku deck actually like stomps on those Tricolor Ginyus. Because one, they only have 4 Cold Bloodlust. They can only play so much. And the reason why Goku is so good is because you can play 2 to almost 3 threats in a single turn just because of his untap energy. Like imagine you had two, like, you know, your turn 6, 7-ish area, you have that much energy. You can play a Gotenks for 3, untap 2, so you play them for 1. You play another Gotenks for 3, for 5, then untap 2, and then you can play another 4-drop or a 3-drop or something, and then all of a sudden you just in one turn you play two Super Saiyan Gotenks and another 3 or 4-drop if you depending on how deep into the game you are. And Ginyu cannot deal with that. Like they'll be at 4 life basically the whole time because they've done that to themselves, and they cannot combo less everything. So that's why this Goku is actually really strong against those tricolor Ginyus, because yeah, they can't combo less everything, and especially if they have their yellow. So if it's their turn and they're swinging into you and you play your raging attack of Vegeta into them, now if they want to stop it with their Cobalt Lust on their turn, so they can tap out their yellow to put him, but that means when it comes and you don't get his effect, sure, whatever. But Tricolor Ginyu usually only has 1 yellow up anyways. So when it comes back to your turn, that yellow's not up anymore, and you can start playing things for free. And when you're playing against a yellow deck and they don't have yellow energy up, it's the greatest feeling when you can play anything that you want. And then I just chose Brawly as a finisher because I don't know, he's been coming in quite clutch for me, just randomly ripping out 2 cards out of their hand. His 4 green is steep, but for the most part I'll play more green energy, and then I only play 2 or 3 blue anyways, because you untap your blue and then you use your green for your actual guys and stuff like that. Because you need just your blues for your counters and your Senzu Beans. You don't really need blue for much, and that's why Beerus is down to 2. And yeah, so Brawly's just he's a really good finisher, ripping off. If you can rip out the 2 good cards out of their hand and then start smashing into them, it's actually pretty fun. So yeah, so that's the green version of the deck. Oh yeah, and then there's the Mafuba. So in this deck I play 3 Whis and 3 Mafubas. It's because it's easier to play. So this is trying to get into, like, once you get into the mid late game, this is where the deck shines, where you can start pumping up a lot of threats and kill your opponent. So yeah, this is basically what I played in set 1. This particular deck is the one where I won 2 of my championships, 2 of the 5 championships that I played in. I won with this deck, but without the Gohans and Kales because I didn't have them at the time. But I think Gohan and Kale just make this deck a lot. So I've been playing this particular deck since the release in set 1, and I've just been changing it up here and there, and I still think it's one of the strongest decks. But yeah, so that's this version. Now going on to the red deck. So same things, all these blues are in play. Your Piccolos, your Boos, and all stuff, except for these bottom cards are not in play. And I play 1 more Whis. I play 4 Whis, and then all of these blues here, and I don't touch these the Beerus or the Mafubas. But for the red, the way this one works is, so when a lot of Vegito, so when you play against Vegito or you play against anybody who's playing Mind Control Babidi, which is another big thing that's running rampant around, they usually try to, pump out their things until turn 6. Like they Objection into turn 3, and then turn 3 they play their Whis, so then by the next turn they can play their Mind Control Babidi, and then when they do that, they tap out for the 6 to play their 2 big threats. Now if you can survive that turn, which Senzu Bean really helps you survive on certain threats, and then your counters, and usually unless they've been attacking you early, they usually can't kill you that turn anyways. So if you can survive that turn, and if you can survive that turn and almost kill them on the crackback sometimes, because if they tap out at 6 and you've already put them down low to around 4 or 5 life, you can probably just OTK them. Like you can kill them on that turn if they tap out 6. So that's why playing Babidi is kind of scary if you're tapping out. But when you play him in the Goku deck, there's no such thing as tapping out with Goku, because he always untaps your blue energy, which is quite nice. So usually you only play 2 or 3 blue energy, and then the rest is just pure red. And so when you play Babidi on his turn, when you tap 6 for him, you're really only tapping 4, because when he attacks, you get 2 back, and you can use those 2 energies to defend yourself with your counters and your Senzu Beans and just whatever you need. So that's why I love playing him with these red things, because a lot of the red decks, they like to tap out and leaving themselves really vulnerable, but with Goku you will not be vulnerable. So the way this one works is, so it's basically the same thing. So on turn 4 you can play your Jiren to help clear some board, and Jiren's just a really good card overall. He kind of reminds me, he's kind of just like a Beerus, except for he has to attack to kill things, but when he comes out, they're not going to defend against your 30k attack when you attack a battle card. But then they can counter these things, but for the most part, when he comes out, he'll kill something that Beerus probably would have killed anyways. And he's a 20k, and then he can attack again. But then like Beerus, once his effect comes out, it's just done. Whereas Jiren, if he survives another turn, he can still kill things inactive, and you can keep going at them. So Jiren's actually a really powerful card, which I really like. Then there's your Gotenks, which is running rampant right now. This is because it's a good card. You drop him, you play 3 tokens with double strike 15, and you can almost kill your opponent just like that. But Senzu Bean does really just shut that down. And then there's the combo is why I played this deck is because these guys up here. It's actually and this small Gohan. But basically, if you can manage to Bobbity on your turn 6 with your 6 energy, and then you can attack with your leader on tap 2, so you still have 2 up. So you swing with Bobbity. Or so you play your Bobbity, and if you can manage to pull out this 5-drop Awakening Evil Majin Buu, and you drop him onto the field with maybe this Gotenks or something, when he's on field, and you have Miraculous Comeback Ultimate Gohan in your hand, or even this ability Unleashing Ultimate Gohan in your hand, but this one's obviously better. If you have either of them in your hand, you can then Union Absorb, which is mean you take one of these cards and you throw him under the Awakening Evil Majin Buu. Then you search your deck for Grand Evil Absorption Majin Buu, and you evolve, or basically evolve, or Union Evolve on top of it. So when Bobbity hits the board for basically 4 energy, because you're on top your 2, and you pull him, you basically have a 7-drop 30k dual attack double strike. Now depending which one you have, they both have double strike, and you swing twice, and with this one, if he KOs a battle card, which Majin Buu lets you attack battle cards in active mode, they 2 damage. So if they have like a Buu sitting there, you can swing at their Buu, and if they don't want to take that 2 energy, they got to combo a lot up just to save that Buu, or also take 2 damage, or you can just give it this ability, which still gives it dual double, which is worse than this, but it's still a great effect. And yeah, so that's crazy. And you know what? Actually, what's really fun about this? So it's like when this card attacks, you may choose 1 card, and if you don't, you can get your double strike. But because he attacks twice, and I don't think it doesn't say anywhere that it's just once per turn, right? Choose 1, so you can choose one of your Gohan for the duration of the turn. This card, when it attacks battle cards in active mode, and it gains all this abilities, so you can actually attack twice and draw 2 cards off this ability, I believe. I just realized that. But I only have 2 of these promos, but if I had 4, I would be playing them more. But for the most part, I usually just play Miraculous Comeback under him. And yeah, you can usually kill people on those turns there, especially if you get the Gotenks and him out. And then if you can't manage to kill them, sure, why not? You still have your 2 blue energy up. It goes to their turn on their crackback, and usually you can defend yourself with your Whis and your Senzu Beans, and you still have 2 energy. Whereas other decks, they won't have that benefit of having those extra energies to defend themselves, and they're basically all in on that Bobbity attack. Yeah, so hopefully I didn't make this video too long. But yeah, so these are the 2 decks with Soul Striker that I'm currently playing, which I'm having a blast with. It's just really fun. But right now the top deck, I actually feel like this is one of the top decks. I think Cell, a bunch of variations. I don't really like the whole Cell chain deck. I don't think that's that strong. It's really easily to work around and beat those decks. But the Cell deck, I made a Cell deck that I think is... I need to test it more before I reveal it to you guys, because I don't want to, it be crappy and you guys be like, this is shit. But I have been playing these 2 particular decks for quite some time, and they're very powerful. I don't know if they're... I'm sure they're not like... I don't think they're tier 0. I don't think they're the best of the decks, but they can definitely compete with the best of the decks for sure. And it's all about who pilots a deck, right? A lot of decks can beat a lot of decks. That's what I really love about this game, is any deck can basically beat any deck. You just have to be able to pilot it well. Obviously, some decks are better than others. Some have a little bit more advantage, but I've been trying to think of a deck to beat, every deck. But every time I make a deck, it gets countered by another deck, and then when I make that deck gets countered by another deck, and there's always a deck that can beat another deck. You know what I mean? And that's what's so great about this game. There's so much variety, so much different leaders you can use, and yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this dual deck preview. I hope it wasn't too confusing. But yeah, if you guys have a chance to try these 2 decks out, they're really fun. I'm actually not even sure which one I like, because they both play kind of differently and they're both really fun. But yeah, thanks for watching, guys.